Hello, my name's Aaron, and today we're going to talk about how to add parts to your inventory list or anything else you're interested in selling. So let's go ahead and get started. From the homepage, the first thing you're going to need to do is, if you haven't already set up an account, go ahead and make sure you do that. You can do that by clicking on the login button up in the top right hand corner. But assuming you have an account, what you want to do is go up to the very top, and underneath Sell, you're going to see an option for Inventory. This is where all of your inventory is going to be listed. This is where you can see the things that have been listed, add new things, change quantities, take down listings, all of that. So let's go ahead and open that up and see what it looks like. When that opens, what we're going to see is a list of all the different inventory items that we have. You'll notice that we've got it broken down into two types. We've got products and services, and we can click between the two. Now, another way of really thinking about these besides product and services is products are things that have a fixed price. So this might be something that you're selling for $500 and it's a known amount. Services, these are really items that you want people to inquire about. These are items that somebody will need to make a request to get a price on. So for example, maybe you make custom wheels, or perhaps it's a really rare part. It's a Weber carburetor, one of the originals from Italy that, you know, folks would really want and could be worth a lot of money. You don't necessarily want to put a price on that. You want people to email you or call you. You can list that as a service, and that will give people the option to reach out to you for more information. So again, the way you can really think about these, products are fixed price items, and services are items that have a request for a quote. So let's go ahead and get started by adding something new to this list. In order to add a new item, we're going to go up to the top and click the Add New button. While I'm doing that, I'll also point out, of course, that you can search and filter that list that we were just looking at. So when you come to the Add New page, you're going to notice a lot of things. And I'm going to go through from top to bottom what you're seeing. So right off the bat at the top, you'll notice there are these different section headers that have red circles with X's through them. These are all of the sections that you need to fill out. So there's a section called General that has information like the description and the price. A section called Photos and Files where you can add pictures and files, like if you have a manual for it. Shipping, where you can add shipping information, and compatible models where you can tell us what car this part fits. If you click on any one of these, it will take you right to that section. So it's a nice little shortcut if you need to edit a product. It lets you quickly get down to the part that you need to edit. Also, the fact that it's red indicates that not all of the required fields have been filled in. What does that mean? Well, required fields are any fields that have a little red asterisk next to them, like we can see here for type of item, title, and description. And those fields, if they have that red asterisk, that means that they have to be filled out before this listing can be made public, before you can actually have this out in the storefront for people to see and buy. You do not have to fill all of these out in order to save the item. This is like saving a draft. That would let you save a placeholder for now so that you can find the information you need to add later. You'll be able to see this listing, but no one else will. So again, there are kind of two modes. You can save, which is like a draft that only is visible to you, or you can list it. And list it means it's going to be available for sale and people are going to be able to see it. But again, in order to be able to list it and click this green button, all of these fields that have the red asterisks next to them need to be filled out. And you can tell if some of them don't because these sections will be red if they're not all filled out. And let's take a look at what that looks like. So the first thing we're going to do is in the general section, we're going to take the type of item. And again, product, you can think of fixed price. Service is like a request for a quote. So we're going to leave this as a fixed price item. And we're going to call this alpha cylinder head. And this is under the category, of course, of parts. And this is an engine part, so we're going to pick engine. You'll notice that categories aren't required. They're strongly recommended because this is the way that people look for parts. So if you don't fill this out, people might not find your thing on the site. SKU, if you have a unique identifier for your product, that is what this is for. So if there's a unique number like A1234 that you're using to track this item, you can go ahead and put that in here. Description, of course, where you can describe what this is. Go ahead and fill this out. Now, the more information that you can put in, the better. In general, the more words that you use that describe the product, the more likely it is that the search engines like Google and Bing will be able to pick it up, and people will be able to find it when they look online. So try to be as descriptive as you can. So for example, in this case, for Alpha cylinder head, I would probably actually be helpful. Let me go ahead and say Alfa Romeo Giulia cylinder head, and maybe it's for 105, right, or whatever it is. So the more descriptive you can be about the part, the better the chances that this will get picked up. If the part has any defects, make sure you list that. If it's in good condition, you should list that. If it's got cracks, you should list that. If it's used or needs repair, whatever information you can provide, again, the more the better. Manufacturer's part number. So if this is a part that has been made and the manufacturer actually has a part number for it, you can go ahead and put that in here. This will help people, when they search by the part number, find it. If this particular part doesn't have a part number, but you know what part number it replaces. So Alpha had, for example, a bunch of part numbers that you can find in their own manuals, and you might know that, this replaces a 34556 part. So you can add that part number. Again, this just helps people find it, but not required. Condition, we're going to say this is a used cylinder head. Since this is our live site, I'm going to give it some ridiculous price so nobody tries to buy it. But we can give it a price, and I can say how many I have in stock. Now that I've filled out all that information, you'll notice that the general section has gone from red to green. And it's gone from red to green because all of the fields that have a red asterisk have been filled out. So for example, if I remove the title, you'll notice that the section again is red because that is required. And again, all that means is if these are red, you do not have all the information required to make it publicly available. You can save it, you can view it, you can make changes to it, but you can't make it available on the store until all of these are set to green. So let's go ahead and keep going. Next up, we're going to do photos and files. So I'm going to go ahead and pick some pictures for this. A quick note on pictures. Again, just like the description, the more information you can provide, the better. Just generally speaking, customers love to see as much as they can. So in this case, I've got a whole bunch of pictures. I think I've got 7 or 8, so I'm going to go ahead and just select all of those pictures from my computer. And I'm going to add those. And once they get added, we'll see them show up down here. So here's the 8 photos that I added of the cylinder head. You notice I tried to take pictures from multiple angles, tried to have it on a clean white background, have good lighting. Again, the better quality of the picture and the more pictures you have, the higher chance of somebody finding the product and buying it on our site. It just makes it easier for not only the customers, but for the search engines. They like to see that you have a lot of pictures as well. You, of course, can go ahead and delete one of these pictures if you're not happy with it, upload new ones, so on and so forth. But I'm going to leave these pictures as they are. I think they look pretty good. And you'll notice now, photos and files is now set to green because I've added pictures. We do require at least one image in order to list a product. Shipping, we've got a number of shipping options. So I can just set a flat rate. So no matter where it is, I can just say, for example, the flat rate's going to be $50. Or I can set a flat rate per country, in which case I can say it's going to be a certain cost for, let's say the United States. I think in the United States, I'm going to make this part $55 to ship, but perhaps in France, I want this to be $150 to ship, so on and so forth. So I can add flat rates by country. If somebody orders a part or from your listing and it's not on one of the countries you've listed, they'll get a note saying shipping hasn't been calculated, that will be charged separately, and we'll talk about how that works. The last option we have here is invoice after the order. This is actually my favorite option because you don't need to do anything. Just check this box, and when somebody tries to go and purchase the item from our website, they'll get a notice saying shipping isn't currently included. The seller needs to calculate shipping and add it to the order. As soon as that's available, you will get a new order that you can then pay. Very easy. So what that means is somebody will come, they'll make an order, they'll go ahead and say, yes, I want to get shipping information. And then as a seller, you'll get an email notifying you that somebody wants shipping information on one of your products. You go ahead and just put that information in the site. It's very, very simple. We can talk through where that's done. And once that shipper information is added, the customer gets a new order which they can pay right online and buy the part. So what this means for you is you actually don't need to do any shipping information upfront. You don't need to measure everything. You don't need to weigh everything. You don't need to put in shipping prices. You can put in shipping once somebody makes an order. So we try to keep that fairly simple. I'm going to go with that option for here. And now you'll notice, because I've selected the shipping option, shipping's green. And last, compatible models. You can either say you don't know what car it's compatible with, but in this case we do, right? This is compatible with an Alfa Giulia. So I'm just going to come down and say this is compatible with Alfa Giulias. In this case, I'm going to say from 62 to 68. All right. Now we notice that compatible models are green. So if we go all the way back up to the top, what we're going to see is we've got green all the way across and green in every section that we filled out. And that means that this product is ready to list. Now I can go ahead and save it. Maybe I don't want to list it just yet. I want to wait for whatever reason. I can certainly do that. And if I do that, it will show up in my list. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and list it. It's going to let me know, congratulations, it's now publicly available. Also, if you take a look at your inventory, you'll now see that that newly added part is right at the top. You can go ahead and see it by its title. You can see that it is listed, and you can see how many there are. So there are a couple things I can do from here. If I need to edit this, I can edit the entire listing. I can change how many of these I have, which obviously I only have one. I can delete it. I can deactivate it, which means that it'll be viewable to me, but no one else. It won't be able to be purchased. And I can preview it. Previewing it, if we go ahead and we can click that, what we'll get to see is what that item looks like, or what it will look like once it's live. So even if you haven't listed it yet, we can see here is what the product looks like and all the information that goes along with it. I'm going to come back to my inventory here. Lastly, something that's good to know is, of course, I can also search for this. So if I had a long list of parts, I can use a search box up at the top, and that will filter down to exactly the part I'm looking for. So that's it. It's pretty simple to get parts listed on the site. But if you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out anytime. You can always email us. We're at info, info @ collectorpartexchange.com. Thank you.